Have you ever heard of the Tyler twist? No? Do you know what tennis elbow is? Do you know what golfer's elbow is? How do you guys treat it? What's your crux of treating it? Mobilization, good. Maybe strengthening, maybe some modalities. All right? What the literature actually shows is that in order to get tendinosis better, you have to have controlled overload of the tendon. Okay? That's what the literature shows. Alfredson showed it in the Achilles tendon when he had people go up with 2 and then down with 1. Okay? He loaded the tendon. He loaded the tendon in a specific fashion, and the tendon remodeled. Well, the same thing is true in the elbow. Okay? Right here. Now, a few years ago, we developed a technique called the Tyler twist to overload the elbow, all right, so that patients could go home and overload the elbow. Because if she was going to eccentrically overload her extensors, scooch forward, lean forward, upper body, and I put a weight in her hand, and she goes up passively, she uses her, and then slowly lowers down, she would have to bring home a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6. Eventually, she'd probably get to 20, 25. Well, that's not practical, right? So how are we going to overload the tendon to affect this tendinosis and remodel the tendon at home without bringing home 20 weights? Well, this red FlexBar here was out there and nobody was using it. Smart guy like George Davies was swinging it like this and say you can strengthen the shoulder. I'm like, that's really good. Todd Ellenbecker goes, if you go down here and play tennis, you can strengthen the shoulder like a tennis player. But Tim Tyler comes along and says, well, maybe we can use this to do isolated eccentrics of the elbow to specifically overload the tendon in a controlled manner and remodel the tendon. Okay? So we developed this exercise. But the problem is not everybody can do this exercise and overload it. Holy mackerel, that really cost me a lot of pain. That's too much. What are we going to do if that's too much? How can you isolate the Extensor Carpi Radialis Brevis, right? Which is number 1 implication. Brevis, number 1 implicated in tennis elbow. If this is too much initially, well, you can go to yellow because that's less, and some people can do that, okay? But eat more asparagus. Did you hear me, George? George. Eat more asparagus because your asparagus rubber band that you get at the store can help you isolate on the tips of your fingers, extend and back. The Extensor Radialis Brevis. Asparagus. Performance Health makes a really nice product where you can do that and they have different colors. But usually your patients get over that in a week or 2. Very easy. So initially it's very painful, okay? But as they progress, it gets less painful. When it gets less painful, you can start isolating eccentrics. And the topic of my talk today was pitfalls of the Tyler twist and isolating eccentrics in treating tennis elbow. So if you could stand up for me, please. She has tennis elbow in her right arm, okay? And the way we teach this is number 1 pitfall, death grip of the FlexBar. If you death grip the FlexBar, you're not going to get rid of your tennis elbow, trust me. So we tell people, hold it tight enough so that it stays in your hand, but loose enough so it stays in your hand, but tight enough so it doesn't fall out, okay? Number 2 pitfall, everybody holds it up a little bit. They leave a little bit there. You want to hold it at the bottom, the very bottom. Number 2 pitfall. The exercise is done like this. She's never done this exercise before, have you? And I'm just going to teach her today. You want to cock the wrist all the way. Number 3 pitfall is everybody goes like the here, halfway. You want to work that tendon eccentrically throughout the full range of motion. So you want to cock the wrist all the way. You want to come with your other hand. Good. Like that. You want to maintain full wrist extension. You want to rotate that, twist that bar as far as you can, as hard as you can. Good, excellent. So now hold that, straighten your arms, and then slowly just eccentrically load. Good. That is isolated eccentrics of the wrist extensors. One of the pitfalls is that, let it go really fast. Good. So hold there. Cock your wrist. Now it's not full extension. Cock your wrist all the way. Yep. Excellent. Good. Let this wrist go very fast as you go there. She's going to eccentrically load. Oh my God, what was that? That was pitfall number 4. When people say, oh, it's just not working, I'm not getting better, what they're not doing, a lot of times, 2 pitfalls. They're not slowly eccentrically lowering. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or they're not loading all the way through the range of motion. So they'll start in neutral and just do that motion right there. Look for that in your patients when you go home and you do it, okay? That's a key point in pitfalls for this. How many should we be doing? What's the dosage of this? How many should we be doing? 3 sets of 100? 1 set of 5? Well, the answer to that question is based on the patient's response. If they're doing 3 sets of 100, they're not feeling crap, all right? Then you got to change the bar. The patients should feel soreness after they do the exercise. We teach our patients a lot, don't work through pain. That's still true. But when you're doing isolated eccentrics for anywhere in the body, patella tendon, Achilles tendon, lateral epicondylosis, golfer's elbow, you want to have them go to the point where they feel a little soreness. Not pain, but soreness. A big difference. So what we do at our institute is we have a nice big pain scale. And we have red here at 10. We have green here at 0. We want them working somewhere, not in the green, not in the red, but in that yellow between 3 and 5. That's the yellow. That's the yellow portion. That will stimulate the tendon to remodel, and that will help them get better. Dosage. That's the intensity. I should be talking about the dosage, right, Houston? How many really should you do? The Alfredson, the literature says 3 sets of 15 twice a day. Okay? The reality is we don't really know. People do get better with 3 sets of 10 once a day. I've seen people get better with 3 sets of 15 twice a day. I'm not sure, but I rely on the literature. And if you look up Alfredson et al., looking at the Achilles tendon, he did 3 sets of 15 twice a day. And that's the dosage right now. So, right about now, you should be saying, oh, that's great, Tim. You know how to fix tennis elbow on the lateral epicondylitis and tendinosis, but what about the inside, the medial, the people that come with golfer's elbow? What's golfer's elbow? Golfer's elbow, shirt up. Golfer's elbow is pain on the medial epicondyle right here. You touch them, they get a jump sign, they jump off the table, okay? How do we fix that? Well, I had no clue. So I went back to the drawing board and I got some heavier flex bars and we created, get this, the reverse Tyler twist. How's that done? That's done by maximally flexing the flexors like this, grabbing here, totally creating tension, overloading the muscle, straightening out, and slowly letting go through the full range of motion and isolating the flexors eccentrically. Because the flexors are stronger than the extensors. Would everybody agree with that? Bigger muscle mass, more strength, they're definitely stronger. So what you'll find when you're starting with your patients is that they usually don't start with the yellow flex bar or the red. They don't start with the yellow one, they go right to the red flex bar and they progress usually definitely to the green one and maybe all the way to the blue one. Okay, so if you could hold this here. Remember, pitfall number 1, do not death grip. Hold it tight enough so it doesn't fall out of your hand, but loose enough so that you're not death gripping. All right, see, this is a little bit of a hard one, okay? Because you gotta maintain full flexion here. You ready? You have to come here and kind of do that. Exactly, maintain full flexion. You're gonna turn this way Come all the way, create tension. That's amazing. Straighten out your elbows and slowly lower through the full range of motion. This one stays totally still. Do it again, but drop it quickly. Because that's what no, we don't like that because now you're doing, oh, that's a great. See what she just did? She just said, oh, just let me wind that back and then I'll do it eccentrically. If you look at the literature, that's concentric motion. That doesn't work. Because now she's loading concentrically and she's not overloading eccentrically. Okay? So fully cocked. Come back there. Awesome. Good. God, you're good. And then let it go fast. And that is the major pitfall to this exercise, is that people don't overload the tendon slowly and they say, why am I not better? You'll get that. I'll guarantee you'll get that. All right? So that's the Tyler twist, the reverse Tyler twist and pitfalls. And thank you for listening.